PNC Congress finally underway.
We turn to spill water from Monday. We look at the consequences.
COP21 delegates in Paris adopt a global plan to curb climate change. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is News Hour on GBC24 and GTV. I'm Conrad Kakraba.
My name is Shirley Annan.
3 people are in custody in Wa over a shooting incident a little earlier today at the premises of the PNC's NEC meeting, which preceded the Congress.
The scheduled National Delegates Congress finally got underway a couple of hours ago in Wa. Our correspondent in Wa, William Owusu-Boateng, joins us on the line with the latest. Hello, William. Good evening. William, if you can hear me, has voting started?
No, please, voting is yet to start, but I can tell you that we are done with all the formalities. The aspirants are taking their turn to address the delegates. So now they have handed over to the electoral commission to conduct the election. But as I speak to you, it hasn't started yet.
So how many people have addressed the gathering so far?
So far, you have all the aspirants addressing them. We have about 16 of them. And when it gets to the turn of Dr. Idris Mahama, who is contesting for the chairmanship position of the party, he told the delegates not to sell their conscience by being induced by gifts, and that was what he told the people. And when he got to Hassan Ayariga, who is also an aspirant of the presidential bloc, he also said he's willing to give out motorbikes to all the regional executives and mobile phones for them to begin their campaign. And so far, this is what has happened.
Well, and Williams, do you anticipate that it will travel much later into the night?
Come again, Conrad.
Do you anticipate that it will travel much into the night?
Yes, looking at the way it is going, it will travel deep into the night. And, you know, at the moment, darkness has engulfed the place, the whole area, because the lighting system here is not the best. But they have been able to extend light to where the voting will be taking place. But if you go through the stands, you hardly see the faces of the delegates. But for where the election will be taking place, I mean the stands where the election will be taking place, they have been able to extend light there.
And our supporters still on the ground?
Yeah, supporters are on the ground. You know, I can say that supporters of Hassan Ayariga are in a frenzy mood. They are jubilating all over the place. To them, it's more like a fanfare. They are just, if you can hear the noise at the background, they are supporters of Hassan Ayariga. They are clad in t-shirts with the inscription, Team Ayariga. They are the ones having the fanfare at the moment. Supporters are still around. They are in anxious waiting for the election to take place.
And with regards to the shooting, is there any development?
About the shooting?
Yes.
So here, there's nothing untoward here. Everything is cordial. The police are here to keep order. There's nothing of that sort here. Everything is under control. The situation here is continuous for voting.
Okay. Thank you so much, William. William Owusu-Boateng is our Upper West correspondent, and he's been telling us about the PNC Congress, which is currently underway, and also the latest development from there. Let's move on to another story now. From next Monday, the Bui Power Authority will begin spilling water from the Bui Dam as part of the process of testing its spillway gates. The authority says a successful spillage will see water flow into the water lake to improve on power generation at the Akonsombo and Pon Hydro Power Plant. The Bui Power Authority says the water to be discharged during the test is expected to remain below the river levels normally experienced in the rainy seasons prior to the construction of the dam. No loss of life or property is expected. Nevertheless, the authority is drawing the attention of all the communities and areas downstream from the Bui Dam to be pay about the intended spillage. The expected water discharge during the performance of the test will not have any significant effect on the accumulated inflows for the operation of the Bui generating station in 2016. I now have in the studio with me Mr. Jabesh and Mr. Arthur. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Bui Power Authority. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Now, so walk us through the process, given the hydropower plants are currently operating below full capacity.
Well, the plant has been in operation since its commissioning in 2013. They have been operating very well, and we have been operating them according to the plan and according to the requirements of the country. But what has happened over the years was when we commissioned it, and from the time of impoundment in 2011, we had never received even average inflows. And so we had never been able to bring the reservoir up to the level where we could test the features of the project fully. We have been lucky this year, and we have gotten more inflow than we normally get on the average. And so we are in a position where we can do a test of the spillway gates, and that's what we want to do. Because you know the spillway gates are an essential safety feature.
Okay.
If we get an excess flood, they have to be operated against the full head of the reservoir to discharge the water, and so we need to test it to be sure that it's working well. And that's what we have the first opportunity to do now, and so we want to do that. So
what will be the duration? For the
we have allowed ourselves to conduct it within 3 days, but we are not going to discharge the water throughout all those 3 days. Probably a maximum of 30 minutes to 1 hour we'll be discharging at the full level.
And what do you anticipate will be the economic, the effect on economic activities there?
We don't expect it to have any negative effects on the activities downstream, because we are going to control the discharge to remain within what the river level normally is during the rainy seasons in the past, before the dam was constructed. So we don't expect any impact on economic activities, on life or on property. And what we have done further to that is to inform each of the communities that are living downstream about what we are going to do, and discuss with them the things they need to do. Some of them, let's say you have fishermen who have strung their nets across the river and so on. We have alerted them that they have to remove them because there'll be a big volume of water coming through. So we don't expect any loss of life or property. And we have actually gone to each of those communities and discuss it with the community opinion leaders, the DCEs, and so on, and make sure that everybody's aware this is going to happen between Monday and Wednesday.
How will this exercise help improve the operations at Akosombo itself?
The water we'll discharge will go straight to join the Akosombo reservoir at Buipe, and so it will improve the inflows that Akosombo has received, and that water will be used for generation at both Akosombo and Pong.
And have you taken the rainfall pattern into consideration to be sure that the dam does not suffer any low water levels with its challenges?
Yes. You know the rainfall pattern. By this point, we have received all the rains that we will receive in the rainy season, and we know what is there, and we know how we are going to use it throughout the year until the next rainy season. And we have determined that this test will not have a significant effect on what we are going to be able to produce. But remember, the reason is that the spillways are a safety feature, and we have to test the safety feature before the contractors leave to be sure that it works properly.
So it's not so much because there is an overflow of the dam?
No.
It's just a test run?
No, it's an essential test for a safety feature that we must conduct and be sure that it's working properly before we can discharge the contractor.
Thank you so much. I think that will be all for now. Mr. Jabesh and Mr. Arthur, he's the CEO of the Bui Power Authority, and he's been telling us about the intended spillage of water from the Bui Dam, and it will last for 3 days. He says that they don't anticipate any adverse effects of the exercise. Moving on to other stories, Kutukrum GB is a predominantly farming community in the Sunyani East district of the Bonahafo region, cultivating especially rice. On a recent visit, some local rice farmers spoke about some of their challenges which demand immediate attention. High on the list is the lack of capital, high cost of production, and access to ready market due to poor road network. But in the face of all odds, the farmers are determined to work harder to add on to the rice value chain.
Saturday mornings are busy periods for rice farmers at Kotokrom Chebi in Sunyani East in Bonahafo, and Suleimana Abdulrazak and his colleague rice farmers are no exception. For them, brisk farming on Saturdays means they rope in their children on the farms since there is no school. This also introduces them to rice farming, which they inherited from their forefathers. GBC24 followed this path to the rice farms of Suleimana and his colleagues. It is difficult for their vehicles to transport their yields during bumper harvest due to the nature of the path. Having been in this business for the past 15 years, Suleimana Abdulrazak tells GBC24 that they have incurred huge debts because their produce is often stuck on their farms.
The roads are deplorable and transporting the produce is difficult. We want the government to help us.
Charles Ansu is also a rice farmer in the community. He says despite their efforts to boost local rice production in the area, cost of production makes it impossible. In addition, they are worried about the high patronage of imported rice.
We need the government to help us increase production of the local rice to feed Ghanaians.
From the farms, GBC24 stopped at the residence of the farmers, which is also their harvesting grounds. Our team observed that the standard harvesting practice, which includes cutting, stacking, handling, threshing, cleaning and hauling, were done manually. GBC24 caught up with Lamisi Abubakar, who for the past 20 years has traded in local rice. She encouraged consumers to buy local rice for its nutritional benefit while helping to grow the industry.
The local rice is more nutritious and people like buying it.
Juliana Danswa is Lamisi's regular customer. She says she prefers the local rice.
I like buying it because of its nutritious value.
The farmers are appealing to the authorities for support with the needed farm inputs to significantly improve on grain yield. Meantime, they say they will continue to apply good harvesting methods to minimize grain damage.
The Ada College of Education has celebrated its Golden Jubilee in the capital. Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur, who was at the ground thereby, asked students and parents to help build strong systems by supporting institutions mandated to run the educational sector to carry out their duties without undue interruption.
He was reacting to recent media reports on students in some training colleges in the Ashanti region who went on rampage over grading systems that led to the referral of some students. Nuto Bibinuto has more.
The Ada College of Education in Adanfor was established in 1965 during the last days of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah before he was ousted from office in 1966. Like several of those schools, the Ada College of Education has survived and churned out many quality human resources. Various principals have contributed to its success story, especially the first, Mr. J.T.M. Dosu of blessed memory, who built the fountain from which many have drunk, a reason for him to be honored. According to management of the school, the numerous achievements are not exclusive of challenges, especially residential and classroom facilities.
Another basic need is expansion of lecture halls and residential facilities for our need comes September 2016, when all 3-year groups will be on campus because of the change in the colleges of education curriculum.
Vice President Kwesi Mr. Arthur delved into the justification for annulling the allowances of College of Education trainees and replacing it with student loans, but maintaining the privileges of feeding and automatic employment after school. He also urged trainees to appreciate the grading system, which helps churn quality products from training colleges.
It is my hope that we all will submit to the National Accreditation Board which should not relent on the standards that have been set and strictly enforce the mandate on entry requirements to guarantee the quality in the colleges of education. The education of our future generation depends on the quality of the teachers.
The year-long Golden Jubilee celebration ushers the Adam College of Education into another phase of life, where they hope to grow more critical minds to transform education in the country. GBC24, Adam 4.
In a nation plagued by high levels of graduate unemployment, students are always encouraged to acquire entrepreneurial skills in addition to their programs of study. The presiding bishop of the Methodist Church of Ghana and the chairman of the Methodist University Council, Most Reverend Titus Awotwi Pratt, has stressed the need for entrepreneurial development at the graduation ceremony of the Methodist University College in Accra.
This year, a total of 1,200 students graduated with masters, bachelors, diplomas and certificates. 110 students graduated with Master of Business Administration degrees, 2 with Master of Philosophy degrees in different subject areas, and 7 with Master of Arts degrees. At the undergraduate level, 81 graduates obtained first class, 206 had second-class upper division, 519 had second-class lower division, 181 had third class, while 11 had passes. 5 students graduated with diplomas and 78 with certificates. The principal, Very Reverend Professor S.K. Ejapong, said the university is bracing up to improve on its research activities.
I would like to take this opportunity to make a call on government to accelerate the process of establishing a national research fund or foundation.
A mathematician and theoretical physicist, Professor Francis Alote, said it is important to improve on science and mathematics for national development.
The first is the training and retraining of math teachers, whose approach to teaching will make students respond positively for better appreciation of the subject.
He noted that for this to happen, mathematics and science teachers should be retrained for the needed impact. Students who distinguished themselves in their studies received awards. Vivian Dodu picked the overall best student.
There are currently 70 schools under trees in the Wild West districts of the Upper West region. GBC24 takes you to Lasie Bali to find out how the pupils and teachers are dealing with the situation and what is being done about it.
This is a normal day at the Lasie Bile Kindergarten in the Wild West district. The children sit on the bare floor or on stones at least 5 hours a day on weekdays. Each of the 2 classrooms has over 60 pupils and handled by one teacher, Mr. Ricardo Wowo. He only has this chair for work. Mr. Wowo told GBC24 that his biggest problem is not about the structure, but the lack of a syllabus.
It's just about my teaching syllabus, the teaching guards. They're the problem now to me, because I don't have the syllabus that will guide me and also guide the children at the same time. Quiet learning can be effective.
However, the plight of these children may soon be over. A 3-unit classroom block with ancillary facilities has been constructed for the school from the MP's Common Fund. At a handing over ceremony at Lasie Bile, a parent, Adam Augustine Sugima, says at least the children will now sit in a decent classroom. Another parent, Mr. Dauda Idrisu, said the children will no longer go home whenever it rains. The district chief executive for the area, Mr. Adamu Dasana, handed over the new school. Mr. Dasana also handed over 2 3-unit classroom blocks and a 6-unit classroom block to 3 other beneficiary communities. They are Wurokura, Birinyasi, and Yizi. The facilities, funded by the GET Fund, with some support from the MP, Mr. Joseph Yelechere, valued at 780,400 Ghana cedis. They will replace these dilapidated structures in the beneficiary communities.
The Deputy Eastern Regional Police Commander, ACP James Abbas Abba, is warning that all recalcitrant road users will face the full rigors of the law, especially during the festive season. He says the police will also be firm in enforcing road traffic regulations. The Deputy Commander was speaking to the media after a special road safety awareness operation along the Bunso-Nkoko Highway. Personnel from the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, the National Road Safety Commission, NRSC, and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, led by the Deputy Regional Commander, embarked on the Special Road Safety Awareness Operation as part of the campaign for an accident-free Christmas. The team started from Bonsu Junction through to Nkoko, checking wrongful parking, double parking, and obstruction of other road users. Drivers found guilty of the various offences were made to move their vehicles and left off the hook, but those who were not available had their vehicle registration numbers taken for prosecution. The regional manager of the DVLA, Mr. David Nodo, warned that the police will clamp down on motorists who abuse the use of the DV and DP vehicle number plates, as there are clear regulations on the use of such plates. Most of the large and trailer truck drivers had parked their vehicles at unauthorized spots, posing a nuisance and danger to oncoming vehicles and other road users. The Deputy Regional Police Commander, ACP James Abbas Abba, cautioned against vehicles left along the highway. He said they obstruct the vision and movement of other vehicles plying the routes, thereby increasing the risk of road accidents. The Regional Commander of the MTTD, Chief Superintendent Ebenezer Labi, said drivers who go contrary to the road safety regulations will be dealt with. The Regional Manager of the NRSC, Mr. Kwesi Chibu Yerenchi, said the police have been detailed to ensure discipline on the roads and asked the drivers to comply. The Eastern Regional Police Command is urging all to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies to ensure an accident-free Christmas.
The Ghana National Gas Company says projects it is undertaking are almost completed. One such project is the EP1 to EP30, which is the stretch of pipeline from Isiama to Pristia. The Chief Executive of Ghana Gas, Dr. George Sipayanki, says the pipelines will serve as storage facilities for excess gas produced.
Under the engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning system, Ghana Gas is laying a 75-kilometer stretch of pipeline from the Isiama distribution station to the Pristia regulatory and metering station. So far, 74.5-kilometer stretch is already done. What is left to complete is a mere 0.5. The stretch passes through the outskirts of Ngolofo town and joins the Block Valve Station 3 to Pristia. The purpose of the Block Valve Station 3 is to serve as an isolation station for ease of work in the event of any fault on the pipelines. Inspecting progress of work, the Chief Executive of Ghana Gas, Dr. George Sipayanki, said current operations at Ghana Gas will require them to spread their generation capacities to other parts of the country.
Now we only have a situation whereby all the generation facilities are in Abuazi and in Tema. God forbid, should there be some earthquake in these areas, what happens? The country will be buried in darkness. So once you've got some facilities in Tema, in Pristia, in Kumasi, in Tamale, that will stop or prevent that happening. We intend to use Pristia as a terminating point for now. But as we get more gas, we're going to extend the pipeline from Pristia to Kumasi and to Tamale, so that gas can reach these regions, so that IPPs can be established there to be able to generate power.
Again, Ghana Gas is laying a 1.8-kilometer stretch of pipeline from the Takoradi regulatory and metering station to join the WAPCO tie-in. The head of construction management at Ghana Gas is Emmanuel Moses.
This is an alternative that if there's an issue with the VRA, then we can have an alternative route to put the gas through. If it comes to WAPCO, it means that we are feeding Tema, because this station is feeding Tema. So then we are not only stuck to VRA in Abuaze. We have Tema that we can also feed.
The projects are expected to be ready for use by the middle of 2016.
In addition to its hard copies of newspapers, Graphic Communications Group Limited has launched an online application, the Graphic News. A subscriber can download the application for free onto a phone to access the paper online. The General Manager of Graphic, Mr. Kenneth Ashigbe, said the move is to make its newspapers widely accessible on the web in any part of the world.
The Ghanaian market for digital online application for news is expanding. Its useful advantage is its immediacy of getting news out. Responding to these changing trends in technology and the quest to make news easily accessible to its customers, Graphic Communications Group Limited, the largest newspaper and publishing company in Ghana, on Friday launched the Graphic News. The Graphic News online application will enable one to access news products of the company online apart from its circulating newspapers. For subscription, one must download the application onto their phones and make the necessary payments. The General Manager at the Graphic Communications Group, Mr. Kenneth Ashigbe, said their aim is to make access to their products and services convenient.
A lot of the youth are not going to the traditional print to read their news, so this affords us the opportunity to also get the young ones who would not generally read on print to also read the digital one. And then even in Ghana, there are some pockets of places where it is difficult to really send newspapers to those areas. So this one, if you are in some mine, in one of the Newmont mines, in a place where the road is bad getting there, you can also subscribe to it on a daily basis. The interesting thing is that you can decide that you buy on a daily basis, you can decide to buy on a weekly basis, you can do a monthly, or you can do 6 months, you can do an annual subscription.
The Graphic News online application also offers subscribers news updates as well as breaking news. The company has also made available discount packages for subscribers. The Israeli ambassador to Ghana has urged Ghanaians to respect and appreciate the culture and belief systems of other countries. This, according to him, will promote peaceful coexistence. He made this known to GBC24 during a candlelight ceremony to celebrate Hanukkah, a Jewish festival of lights in Accra.
Despite globalization and its resultant increase in multicultural, many people struggle to respect the beliefs, traditions and social behavior of other people. To contribute his part in reducing this problem, the ambassador of Israel, together with the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Madam Hannah Tete, and some Ghanaian officials have commemorated the festival of lights known as Hanukkah. During the festival, a special prayer is recited as thanksgiving to God, amidst the singing of some special songs. Israeli ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Ami Mel, said the ceremony is meant to bring harmony amongst Israelis and the world at large.
It's interesting for each culture to know other cultures. So exactly as I am trying to learn the local culture and to learn some Twi and to learn the habits and everything here, because it's important to know the local culture. I think that's the very same. It's important that you learn our culture, especially when it's such a lovely, lightening culture.
We have more news coming up. Please stay with us.
Now some business news. Domestic airlines in Ghana have resumed operations at the Kotoka International Airport after days of cancelling flights due to the harsh Harmattan weather. As a result of the foggy weather culminating in poor visibility, the airlines cancelled flights from Accra to Kumasi and the northern regional capital, Tamale. The manager of corporate communications of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, Eric Amenin, said Africa World Airlines has begun its afternoon schedule. He said the flights resumed because the weather is clear. Mr. Amenin, however, added the resumption is interim since Africa World Airlines is only operating its Kumasi route. However, the other domestic airlines, including Starbo, are yet to resume operation. Several passengers were stranded at the airport last week as a result of the cancellation. Customers of GH Express, a Ghanaian-owned transport company, will soon buy their tickets online and enjoy onboard internet service. The Chief Executive Officer of the company, Mr. Ofori Poku, announced this when the company received an award as the leading transport service company in West Africa.
GH Express is a private transport company which aims at providing effective, efficient, affordable and alternative transport services to commuters. The company has footprint in all 10 regions of the country. It operates in Togo, Benin and other West African countries. After 20 years of its operation, the West African International Magazine, a magazine that promotes indigenous West African businesses, deemed it necessary to pat the company on the back with an award as a leading transport service company in the South region. The Chief Executive of GH Express, Mr. Ofori Poku, attributes the recognition to the company's adherence to safety standards and customer service.
If you compare the buses in terms of quality, comfortability and durability, GH Express is far ahead.
Mr. Ofori Poku revealed GH Express will introduce e-ticketing and free Wi-Fi services in the future.
The system where we are going to allow passengers in future to buy tickets on MTN money, Vodafone money and Tigo Cash, where the system of traveling from your home to the station to buy tickets will be off.
GH Express is urging drivers and passengers to adhere to road safety measures in the Christmas season. The company hopes to expand its business to other African countries in the years ahead.
South African financial markets are still reeling from the sacking of the highly respected finance minister Nhlanhla Nene, a move that left many stunned, causing the rand to nosedive to an all-time low. A minister in the presidency, Jeff Radebi, said President Jacob Zuma had not told his minister that he planned to sack Nene. Mr. Zuma has so far offered no reasons for the axing and appointment of ANC backbencher Douglas Van Rooyen as Nene's successor. The news could not have come at a worse time for Africa's most advanced economy, with the currency in free fall and ratings agency recently downgrading the country. Fitch Ratings Agency recently placed the country on a negative outlook. Minutes after the announcement, the rand crashed to a record low. Meanwhile, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, an ally of the ruling ANC, said it was shocked and disconcerted at Nene's removal. Next is My Journey.
Hello, very good evening. Many thanks for joining us here on that segment of the news where reporters tell you about their experiences behind the news as they go about getting you the news. And tonight, I'll tell you about what's going on in the 3 regions of the north. And you know that for many residents in the northern, upper east and upper west regions, caution has become the watchword, not only for motorists, but also for people who go about their daily activities. The northern ecological zone of the country is one such area that is prone to dust and haze occasioned by the northeastern winds blowing across the Sahara from Europe. Tonight, I will take you on a journey through some districts of the 3 regions of the north for an experience of the Harmattan in these areas. A little over 2 weeks ago, I journeyed to some districts in the northern, upper east and upper west regions. The weather was clear and the scenery was green. The journey from Tamale to Bolgatanga through Waliwali was smooth. In Wulugu, for instance, people went about their normal daily activities without any difficulty. Families could afford to come out almost bare-chested in their compounds early in the mornings.
while the busy Accra-like activities in Bolgatanga proved why it is the capital of the Upper East region. In Tumu in the Upper West region, farmers went about their daily activities without hindrance. Barely 3 weeks later, a lot has changed. The once bright and clear weather has given way to the hazy, dry, windy harmattan season. I was among the lucky few who flew on one of the last flights from Accra to Tamale before the harmattan set in. Since then, domestic flights, especially those flying to Tamale from Accra, have been suspended until further notice. The once smooth journey from Tamale to Bolgatanga has given way. At the moment, extreme caution has become the watchword on that road. Poor visibility caused as a result of bad weather stretches into the horizon, forcing drivers to switch on their headlights in order to warn other road users. Traveling on the Navrongo-Tumu road at this time of the year presents a huge challenge for drivers and passengers alike. This is because they have to deal with both extreme dust and extreme haze, making visibility almost impossible. I caught up with the political head of the Tumu district in his office. He assured that work is ongoing to ensure that the road becomes user-friendly in the near future.
That road has been awarded on contract. They say the contractor is working assiduously to get things done. The work is not going as expected. On a monthly basis, when they have their meetings, site meetings, I'm invited to join them because I'm part of that route. I have a stake in that route, so they invite me. And a good number of the roads too in the district have been awarded for reshaping and cleaning, and it's only the rains that have brought that, stalled that, and I believe that now that the rains are subsiding, work will go on assiduous.
Some farmers have also developed a system that allows them to farm even in this unfriendly period for farming.
Once the sun is there, it's able to pump about 10,000 gallons a day, and there's a big reservoir over there.
Harmattan comes with its attendant problems such as chapped lips, cracked heels, and many reported cases of respiratory attacks.
The harmattan has come with these challenges, and then some of the challenges of the harmattan is dryness of the legs, dust, especially those riding motorbikes. You have dust entering your nose, so it is most appropriate to use nose mask. And then with the lips cracking, it is advised for us to use lip gloss. You can use lip gloss.
In another episode of my journey, we will tell you how harmattan is affecting individual lives in the northern region in particular. Abdulhai Mumin, GBC24.
And on that occasion, we'll be telling you how people have their feet cracked and their lips cracked as well. Have a very good evening. We'll bring you some more due time.
Welcome back to some international news. A deal to attempt to limit the rise in global temperatures to less than 2 Celsius has been agreed at the Climate Change Summit in Paris after 2 weeks of negotiations. The deal is a first to commit all countries to cut carbon emissions. The agreement is partly legally binding and partly voluntary. Earlier key blocs, including the G77 group of developing countries and nations such as China and India, said they supported the proposals. The text agreed accepts that the dangers of climate change are much greater than previously acknowledged and pledges to attempt to curb the emissions. Earlier, French President François Hollande called the proposals unprecedented, while UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon called on negotiators to finish the job. At least 34 bodies have been found in Burundi's capital after the worst night of violence in recent times. Most of the bodies found on the streets of Bujumbura appear to be young men killed by gunfire, some with their hands tied behind their backs. The bodies were found a day after attacks on military sites. Residents accuse police of taking revenge. Unrest has blighted Burundi since an attempted coup in May and protests over the president's continued rule. The attempts to overthrow President Pierre Nkurunziza followed his decision to seek a third term in office, which he won in a disputed election in July. Two people of Syrian origin have been arrested in Geneva on suspicion of making, concealing and transporting explosives and toxic gas. The two are also suspected of violating a law prohibiting groups such as Al-Qaeda and the so-called Islamic State IS. Geneva's prosecutor is expected to give more details on the arrest later. Geneva has been on the high alert this week amid fears an IS cell was in the area. The tip-off about a terror cell in Geneva had originally come from the United States. Pictures of 4 individuals had been circulated to police, but it is not clear if the 2 arrested are among the 4 being sought. The number of police on Geneva's streets has also been increased. We'll bring you sports after this break.
In sports news, the 2015 Korea Cup Taekwondo Championship is underway at the Accra Sports Stadium. The 2-day championship is to help select players for the Olympics next year.
More than 180 Taekwondo practitioners are participating in the 2-day championship. The event is aimed at selecting the best practitioners in the sparring contest for both the juniors and seniors, male and female categories. The opening day event attracted two-thirds of the heads of the 36 sporting associations under the National Sports Authority, some officials from the Korean Embassy in Ghana, the Deputy Youth and Sports Minister, among others. The occasion was also used to reward the 3 top clubs out of the 20 who participated in the I Love Taekwondo video contest. They were honored with the gold, silver and bronze awards. The Korean ambassador to Ghana, His Excellency Liu Wong-ki, and the president of the Ghana Taekwondo Federation, Mr. Frederick Latutu, said they were happy at the turn of events.
I have very good hope. After I watched the young boys playing and demonstrate the Taekwondo skills and techniques today, I really surprised and impressed very much. So I can say that Ghana Taekwondo will have a very bright future. Even in the future Olympic Games, you can get some medals.
20 Taekwondo clubs have been selected and have been awarded with prizes. These prizes include Taekwondo uniforms, protective equipment, and Taekwondo mats. And for the records, the Ghana Taekwondo Federation has only 2 mats for the whole nation. Anytime there's a championship in even Northern region, we have to move a mat from here to Northern region. So for a club to win a mat, which costs about $5,000, I think today is a great achievement day in the life of Ghana Taekwondo.
The two-day championship will see a real contest for the para-taekwondo practitioners in the country.
Ghana Taekwondo Federation has received praise for giving para-athletes the platform to exhibit their talent. The call was made by some association heads who graced the opening ceremony of the 2015 Korea Cup Taekwondo Championship in Accra.
We're a minority sport here at Taekwondo. You see all the other federation presidents, all in the same boat. We receive nothing from government. We struggle to make it work. So when you have the synergies today of governments and foreign governments, not even our own government, foreign governments involved, sponsors like Rana Motors, and then the other federation presidents here to back the president of Ghana Taekwondo, I think is positive. It sends out a positive signal, and it shows that it doesn't take much to make it work.
For me, I've been very, very impressed with what Rana Motors and even the Korean embassy is doing for Taekwondo. I mean, it's so heartwarming that you have people coming from outside and they want to do something for our youth here. Then what about us here? You know, so it's sometimes you just don't want to be passionate about these things, but you need to be. If people outside think that, oh, our youth needs to develop, so they are putting in money. What about we Ghanaians, we here? What are we doing for ourselves? And for me, I'm very grateful to, especially the Korean ambassador.
They've done really well, and would like to see that kind of incentive, that kind of enthusiasm and sponsorship and support for other sports as well. Because sport is important to keep young people active, to keep them out of trouble, to keep them strong, fit, and healthy and disciplined and focused, so they can achieve great things in whatever field, vocation, or profession they apply themselves to.
We'll be back with some arts news.
Rich Ghanaian culture and tradition was at its best at the climax of Carnival Ghana 2015. This was a gathering to promote the Ghanaian way of life, and this attracted people from the corporate world as well as the culture and tourism industry.
Participants gathered at the Obra Sports in Accra and walked through some principal streets of Osu amid music and dance. They later ended up at the Black Star Square to display some rich Ghanaian culture. 24 cultural troupes across the country, including those from schools, took turns to display their skills in music and dance. Masqueraders and acrobats were on point with their skills. The Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts joined dancers from Kumasi Center for National Culture to show her dancing moves. Mrs. Elizabeth Ofuswejari gave reasons for the carnival.
The whole idea is to use this brand to promote our domestic tourism. As a ministry, we have the responsibility of making products that attract people to come together in the name of domestic tourism. You know that we launched our domestic tourism drive dubbed Explore Ghana. We are using this carnival to help people to explore beautiful Accra.
Hip life artist Tic Tac came to grace the occasion. Even though the event started late, it ended well.
Musical And choral concert was held in Accra to help raise funds to cater for and provide an infirmary for neglected, cured, as well as persons living with leprosy in Nkanchina in the northern region. The wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur, says the success story of Christmas is knitted with giving, hence her call on all to contribute their widow's mite to support a worthy cause such as this. Theodora Amedeto reports.
This annual event, organized by the Lepers Aid Committee, is to solicit funds to cater for cured and uncured lepers in Ghana. Founded in 1993, the committee also creates awareness about the fact that leprosy is curable and a treated patient is non-infectious. Funds accrued from last year's concert went to complete a housing project for cured and uncured lepers in Nkanchina in the northern region. This year's choral concert would raise funds to build an infirmary in Nkanchina for lepers housed there. The founder of the Lepers Aid Committee, Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, was grateful to all sponsors over the years.
And we're grateful to all our benefactors who've helped us, especially the Common Fund. We've also been on a tour of the Upper West regions in Ghana, and we found out that there were about 60 active cases and 588 inactive cases. And then in Weja, Ho, Kokufu, and the central region and Nkanchina, we have about 368. So that makes about 1,000 altogether in the whole country that we want to take care of and see what support we can give them.
Ghana's ambassador to the Vatican, Mr. James Bebaku Mensah, and the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Matilda Emisa Arthur, who for many years has visited and supported the cured lepers, say the essence of Christmas is obedience and giving. They called on all to help make life a bit comfortable for the lepers.
Children, just secure the lepers. As we go out to celebrate Christmas, we give more to the poor. And we fulfill the Christmas that we make at least one person or two persons happy for Christmas.
This night is important because it's a night where we come, enjoy the music, and we give to the lepers. You can give clothes, you can give soap, you can even give your prayers. On top of it all, Father Campbell needs to finish the Nkanchina home. So this is a night of giving. Remember the less fortunate, especially those in Nkanchina.
The Winneba Youth Choir, Harmonious Choral, the National Symphony Orchestra, and Sandra Hassan featured on the musical and choral night. Theodora Amedeto, GBC24, Accra.
For the weather report.
With technical support from the Ghana Meteorological Agency.
Lovely evening to you. Welcome to the Winko Weather Reports. I'm now Fabia Jobebu. So we've been experiencing some haziness in the country. What persists tonight and tomorrow, especially for those who are the high grounds of the country, talking about Abetifi, Ofuria, or their surrounding areas, mist and fog patches would be experienced during the early hours of the day. Minimum temperatures expecting 25 degrees Celsius along the coastal belt, 25 degrees Celsius for those over the middle sectors and 19 degrees Celsius for those over the northern sectors of the country. Low and normal humidity would be recorded. For the afternoon, expecting few clouds in the country, no clouds at all for those over the northern and transitional parts. For temperatures, we're expecting 36 degrees Celsius to be recorded for those over the northern sectors of the country, 34, 35, 33 degrees Celsius for those over the southern sectors of the country. This is how we're expecting your localities to look like in the next 24 hours. Shortly on the screen is the forecast for the next 48 hours. Stay tuned. This has been the Winko Weather Report only on GTV. Good evening.
That's all the news are on GBC24 and GTV.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much.